Let's see. All right. Good morning, everybody. We are back for day 2 of Senior Living Ask Day. So that's Aging Services Knowledge. And today we're starting off with Julie Podewitz and building a stronger sales pipeline. Yesterday was, it was very top of the funnel. All of our tools and websites and all of our attribution tools and our, tools to kind of bring people down the pipeline. So today is going to be more about the sales side of things and those tools that kind of happen after all that initial top of funnel activities go on. So very excited to have Julie with us today. We're going to get right into it. So we'll get everyone a minute to kind of come in and sit down. A little bit of housekeeping. Down at the bottom, you have all those little gray icons or wherever they are for you, but there is a chat icon. So if you want to have a conversation on the side, technical issues, anything like that, put it over there. If you have questions specifically for Julie's presentation, put those in the Q&A, and Steve and I will ask them after her presentation, and we'll go from there. And then, good morning, Steve Moran.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be here. Julie, we have known each other for years. I'm going to confess to you, I'm not ever sure. I've read tons of stuff and I've seen you on LinkedIn. I'm not sure I've ever actually heard you speak. So I'm really, really excited about this. And the one thing I will tell you is, I love the industry, right? You are in the audience, you guys, Dave and Julie. But I got to tell you, the sales stuff needs some work. I hear stories all the time about things, and it's bad because it costs for buildings, move-ins, and revenues. It's bad because it means people don't get help. And we're all about at Senior Living Foresight about helping make the lives of people who live and work in senior living better. I just want everybody to adopt that as their mantra as they walk through the day. They're going to make people's lives better, and then we'll make some money and have some fun along the way. We'll make people's lives better. So we're really, really excited about it. A couple more things that I want to talk to is, if you drop into chat there, Dave talked about where you click on that little chat. Somebody already did that. That was you, somebody from you. Drop into chat there where you're at and what you had for breakfast this morning. I actually haven't had any food yet. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I had an early call here on the West Coast. And so we are just really delighted that to have you here. The one other thing is that after every session, we're going to pop up a screen. Two other things. We're going to pop up a screen. We're asking you to do a speaker evaluation. It's a real easy barcode, a real eeasy website. You go in there, find the speaker. So after Julie's done, we'll put the reference back up again. Linda, I'll bet you had that pre-printed because that's too long. Nobody can type that fast. And so it really will help the speakers, and what help us as we do this event to do a better job. And then the last thing is that we are giving away $100 Amazon gift certificate to the person who initiates the most chats. I'm going to hang my head in shame right now because I promised to announce who it would be today. And we just had some technical difficulties that we didn't actually get those downloaded and counted. We might get it done by the end of the day for both of them, but probably we'll have to announce it next week. If I can, I'll try to announce it at Foresight TV tomorrow and do that publicly. But we are glad you are here. Conversation. Julie, I'm so glad you're here again. I'm excited about it. As I told you off stage, I'm gonna let you do your own introduction and then teach us how to do this better. Welcome.
Well, thanks a lot, Steve and Dave, for having me. I had toast with melted cheese for breakfast. I'm with my mother, and that is something that I had as a child. And so she made me my favorite breakfast this morning. I am happy to be here. I'm Julie Podewitz. I'm going to share my screen. Got a lot to cover today. For those of you who know me, I should present as absolute content rich as time allows. This is recorded, so you can go back and view something again, as I'm going to give you a lot of content. We're talking about outreach. We talked yesterday a lot about getting people to the funnel And now that people are into the funnel, or we're going to work on outreach to get them near and in. I also have a passion. I started Grow Your Occupancy a year and a half ago. I've been in the business about 20 years, both on the provider side and the consultant side. And like Steve, great passion for the business. And my passion is elevating talent. Sales, selling senior living is a very high level skill. It takes a unique blend of drive and sales talent and a unique ability to connect, empathize, and use counseling skills, but not cross those lines. So we do it both for in-reach, inside sales with prospects, and outreach. Outreach is oftentimes, it looks like the left side of the screen for people. I don't know what to do. I have no time. So what we're going to do is try to straighten it out here in 20 minutes. Think of outreach in a holistic approach. Okay, outreach, yes, it's one-on-one appointments, it is networking, it's community presence, it's collaboration with others in the community, sponsorships, events in and out of your community. It's word of mouth, community. Oh, I knew where you were. Your sign. That is community knowledge, your local awareness and reputation. All of these are part of outreach, the bigger picture, holistic approach. Our sales funnel, like Steve said, I've been doing this 20 years. I have a great passion. I love people in this business, and we are trying very, very hard. We still have so many gaps. Our sales funnel looks like this. For every 100 leads that go in, 10 come out the bottom on average, and adding low converting leads to the top and not working your sales systems and processes is not going to widen the funnel. One of the ways to help widen this funnel is to add higher converting leads to the top. This is where outreach makes impact. Okay. So let's take a look at where leads come from, right? Typically speaking, here are the sources. The pie doesn't look like that though. So taken from about 450 communities, this is the data, okay, showing a typical lead source distribution. So the what I call aggregators, which are paid sources like A Place for Mom, caring.com, that come through the web, make up almost half of a typical database. And the leads digital, okay, other web leads, about 24. So between those two, it's 75% of lead source. The others, the events, the residents, friends, family, paid local agencies. We do have to pay for those move-ins, get a little bit more though, personal touch for those, and word of mouth make up the rest. Professional referrals make up just 5%. Let's take a look at why this is so important to know. Because when we look at the conversion metrics, again, this is of about 450 communities, Grow Your Occupancy's research, the conversion rate from into the funnel through to move in is vastly different. So if you recall, the greatest number of leads convert, pay aggregators convert at the lowest rate, whereas professional referrals, friends, family, residents, word of mouth, community, much, much higher rate. So thinking in micro change, 1 more, 2 more, 3 more of these higher converting leads is going to widen up the funnel. It's a game of inches. Micro change in habit and commitment will make a macro impact. Don't take on the world here. Pick one thing from today to implement or to decide. The bottom line, it's about results. We talk about sales. What do we look for? What are the expectations? What are the benchmarks? Our work product is move-ins. That's what we're paid to do and to produce. How we do that are actions, and how well we do it is skill. But at the end of the day, it's sales and move-ins is what we're paid to produce. So let's look at strategically how to increase and better this outcome. So the referred leads, I'm speaking specifically, this math is for professional referrals for those that are referring at 45 to 50% from top of the funnel through to move-in. So if you have two, and this is typical in all the databases that my team and I, we have 9 on the Grow Your Occupancy team now. I'm very excited in all the database and all the research and collaboration with the partners that provide data. 2 professional referrals is typical a month. And that's about 6 a quarter, which would be 2 move-ins a quarter at conversion rates. Going from 2 to 4, that's 1 a week. Go from 2 move-ins a quarter to 6 move-ins a quarter. That's staying at that same conversion rate. And the dollars based on an average 5,000 monthly revenue, yours could be slightly higher, slightly lower, is $500,000 in additional revenue for adding 1 or 2 more referred leads, prospects to the top of that funnel. And if half of those refer to friend, and statistically, those friends, family, those resident referrals come between 30 and 90 days of move-in for highly satisfied, and referred leads are statistically going to refer at a higher rate, and those people convert at a higher rate, you have an additional 4 move-ins. This is all, I'm not going to get into this, but it's based on the law of increasing return. You've heard about the law of diminishing return, okay? This same law applies to increasing return. It may take a bit of time to get your wheel in motion to produce a result, but once the wheel's in motion and you're adding to that momentum and keeping it going, you will get a higher rate of return for your effort. Keeping that in mind, simply put, the more consistent we are in any effort, the less labor it takes to yield, in this case, a referral. You've got to keep it going, though. You cannot stop and start, because getting the wheel going is what is so challenging. So very quickly, your outreach funnel, you've got to schedule time. It's got to be a team approach. Who are we seeing? We've got to create a plan. This is a ton of information, but pick one thing. I'm going to give you some more content. You got to complete them. You have to follow up. This is a sales process, very much like our sales funnel. And just like inside sales, you've got to have a team, because outreach, yeah, it's a priority, but how many of us had thought one of these things, or maybe all of them? We don't know what to do. Our plate is way too full. We have too much to do. I don't know how to do it. And logistically, based on time, which is our greatest commodity, and it is limited. Every sale requires about 10 hours of selling time. And on average, a really dedicated person spends about 20 hours in that selling arena specifically, even though you're working 40, 50 hours a week. Where is the time for outreach? So imagine adding, oh, and by the way, you got to do 15 appointments. That's where the pushback comes in. What? How am I going to do 15 appointments and all this other stuff I need to do? So instead of just taking one little component, we are like, ugh, it's too much. Later, because it's just too much. And who's watching sales when you're out of the building? Again, the team approach. So 3 department leaders each did 1 hour of sales time based on conversions, sales time or outreach, or they're covering, quote unquote, you as you're going out. It's going to be it's 12 hours of selling time, and based on conversions and a lot of data, that's an additional move-in a month. So you have to weigh why. Why is this important? What is the outcome? What am I going for? Do not go out because you have to do 10 appointments and 10 things and you're checking the box and you're handing out flyers. Don't do that. You're much better going to get a result doing a home visit or another, another more high impact activity. So if you're bought in, now what do? Micro change, one thing. First, if this is yours, you got to set a schedule. Make it small. Don't say, oh, half my time I'm going to be out in the field. If that is not doable right now, do a small micro change, but you must set a schedule and you can build from there, but you must commit. Here's an area we can do a whole entire day on, and we have it, Grow Your Occupancy, is building a marketing plan. I'm going to show you how to do this in 3 minutes. Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you my contact information. You can always reach out to me or anyone on the Grow team. First, establish a format. If you've got a format, okay, great. A lot of people don't. Set your outcome expectations. Very oftentimes I hear, I got to do 15 appointments. I have to be out half the time. That's the action. On the one side, what's the equal sign? What's the result? What are you going for? If you do 20 tours and you don't have any move-ins, what's the first thing your regional or was first thing your ED said, where are the move-ins? Where are the sales? You've done 20 tours. How often though, when we look at it, gosh, we've done 20 appointments. Where's the referral? We don't tend to measure it that way, and we need to. Identify your differentiator in your messaging. It's outreach, networking, and events all in this plan and tracking results. Very quickly, this is being recorded. Here are 2 examples of a marketing plan that we've put together. This is in Word, the other one's in Excel. It's up to you, whatever format you want, doesn't matter, but you need to be consistent. This one just very simply a budget of what the community has to work with, not every little nuance of everything, but what do you have to work with? It's done in quarters, and you can see the strategy. What's your objective? How many referrals do you want? And are you measuring it just professionals, or are you measuring it word of mouth, community, all what I call non-paid. The more outreach you do, the more networking, the word of mouth, that non-paid bucket. I don't know who said it, but I heard it from church. That's to do with your outreach and your local reputation. I count that in the non-paid bucket. Professional referrals is one part of a non-paid bucket. The goal would be to get your non-paid bucket bigger. Remember the stat? It was 75%, or half was the paid aggregator, and the other's the web lead. And those others, okay, the goal is just to inch those other categories 1%, 2%, 3%. And then I put in here again any concessions or incentives if that's something that you've got going, or that's something that is important to you all. And what's the competition doing? Not a long competitive analysis, but just, oh gosh, down the street they're giving 6 months free, and that might be good to know as you're building the strategy, but very high level. Don't make this difficult. Your plan, your outreach, events, okay. And another form, this one looks more detailed because the budget this is Excel. This is an example of being a little bit more precise in the budget or a spend down. It's done by months, and you can see it's added, added quarterly here. And if you're using Excel, you're going to have tabs along the bottom. Your annual marketing budget would be one tab. And if you're really Excel savvy, as you're populating numbers in each month and quarter, it would automatically populate over here. You don't have to do that. We will do that for our clients if they want one. But on the other tabs, you got your quarterly event plan, you have your outreach plan, very, very high level. So here's an example of a Word document, an example of Excel document. Doesn't matter what form, but commit. Maybe you're on a Google Doc. I don't know. Okay, another thing to do when you're planning. What has happened in the past? Pull your lead source analysis trailing 12 months, whether you've worked there 12 months or not. Do it per community. And if you're regional or VP or so, you can pull it for your company so you can get a higher level view of your business. This is your business. You need to know where your customers are coming from. Who has referred, and start there. Then you go to your residents and you go to your team members. Who do they know? What churches do they attend? What volunteer groups? Who are their physicians? Start in where the obvious sometimes gets missed in our desire maybe to be different. Okay, don't be different until you've done same or typical or common, and then you know what works and what doesn't. Business types. Here's some examples of kind of maybe some typical business types. It's not all the business types, but start somewhere or build from something. If you want to, go to your, if you're assisted and memory, partner up with the Dell Web. If you have, a Dell Web or a community independent or active adult, or if you've got that 50 Forward Club or the YMCA, memory care, medical, non-medical, however you want to divide it, but keep it simple. You're not going to conquer the world in a month or a quarter. Keep it simple. Not all of this in a quarter. Pick 2 business types in a quarter. Plan. This is how simple a plan is. Okay. Who are you seeing? When are you seeing them? What's your desired outcome? 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to talk to somebody. It's not what you're going to say. It's what you're going to ask. What do you want to know about that? What do you want to learn? Just like your prospects. When your prospects call, you don't feature dump. You ask questions to get to know your customer. That's the same thing here. You do want to think, okay, what's a differentiator? And ask yourself this. When you leave, what would you like that person to remember? Now, we can't control what they think and feel, but how would you like them to feel? Do you want them to feel the good, or they trust you, or they're reliable, or you want them to remember something specific? Know what you would like them to remember so that you can emphasize either that behavior or that piece of information. Very narrow. Think narrow. Questions to ask. Okay, go with questions. You go with one question. Here's a sample of questions. Do not go, and I'm going to tell them everything about my business. Okay, they're not going to remember a thing. Just like if someone gave you a business and gave you a laundry list of everything they do, not going to remember a thing. It's like, do I like them? Would I like them to? Would I like to learn more? You can ask, what does your current referral process look like? I love the question, when do you think it's not a good idea for someone to be at home anymore? Elizabeth, you're on this call. One of your colleagues taught me this probably 15 years ago when I did shoulder to shoulder outreach with her. And she said this, we were out and doing outreach. And I was like, that is the greatest question, because the rehab discharge planner said to this, to Catherine, she said, well, everybody wants to go home. And Catherine paused. Instead of telling her why, that they should move to the community, she said, oh, no, I hear you. When do you think it's not a good idea for someone to be at home anymore? And I was like, okay. Changed my life. So, and that's one micro change. That question changed my life in a positive way. Here's some more questions. What do you think older adults are looking for? Have you been to our community? What's the reputation like? Hey, what do you hear about us out there? Don't be nervous to ask the question. I did a training yesterday and someone was, honest enough to say, oh, I'm afraid of the answer, so that's why I don't ask. And I appreciate that vulnerability. In our personal life, sometimes don't ask the question if you don't want to know the answer. In our professional life, we should ask the question that we might not love the answer to, so that we at least we have transparency and we understand and we can drill down and learn more and build bridges. Right. In 2 minutes, use social media to your advantage. I have a social media expert, a couple of them on our team, and she pulled for you is just examples of things that she is an outreach guru. And she is like a goddess in her markets. She knows what to do. She uses social media a lot. So her suggestions are, LinkedIn for new connections. Go to the chat. Maybe you can offer a little bit of information. Maybe ask a question. People will respond. You can see she's given you screenshots here of people who have reached out to her because she is the go-to person in her local community, because she's built that reputation, and how she continues to build on those relationships, staying connected in the chat. Create a system. Got to make a commitment to check the account, to stay active, and don't accept time wasters. You know, there's a lot of computer, automations and things like that. Another suggestion she has is using a short video. I'm sure we've had some great, people in these sessions that offer. There's some phenomenal video apps. You can even use your phone if you don't have a video app to create a personalized message. Send your calendar schedule. Think casual, easy, and quick. And you can do appointments by virtual, exactly like we do as we learn through COVID and onward. Facebook, she said, join professional networks in your local area. Membership groups are very much larger than the actual in-person events. So here's some great suggestions to lean into social media for outreach. Recap the holistic approach. Okay, and pat yourself on the back. When you get a word of mouth referral, okay, it's part of, maybe it wasn't a one-on-one appointment you did, but it's the team and it's the local reputation. It's the consistency. Keep this wheel going. The law of increasing return. Determine a marketing plan format. Put a timeline to commit to this. Make it simple. Set it on your calendar and commit to doing it. Okay, you're going to include your outreach, your simple outreach. Commit to 1 appointment a week, 2 appointments a week, or 3 virtuals, or go to a networking and say, I'm going to talk to 5 people at this networking, or 3 people. Those are appointments. Measure the end result. If you get 1 referral a month now, go for 2. Start somewhere. Block your time. Know your differentiator, but you've got to follow through. Know where you are now with your lead source analysis and your move-in conversions. Don't make it too difficult. Just pick one very simple and set a referral goal or a non-paid lead goal per quarter. Break it out into months and go from there. Game of inches, micro change, okay, will make macro impact. $500,000 for 1.5 move-ins more a month. I hope I gave you a lot of content and some good content in a short amount of time. It is challenging, but there's a lot of support. Grow Your Occupancy can provide you. We have an online training through Aging Answers. You met Terry Sullivan yesterday. We're going to have an outreach module available by March 31st. We do offer webinar trainings. You can jump on our website. We do 1 a quarter for free. You can reach out to me or reach out to anyone on our team to learn more or ask any questions. Or if you want resources, pretty well connected in the business, and I'm happy to give you names of phone numbers and connect you to those I feel would be most helpful. And most of all, be kind to yourself. People are in this business, myself included, because of you, because of the people that are drawn to the business, where people are kind, they're good. And at the end of the day, who we care about is our resident and those who serve our residents. Most kind and good-hearted people and hardworking people in the world. Celebrate your success, have fun, and acknowledge your impact and the impact that those around you have. Okay, how'd I do?
Julie, this was
Wow.
amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I got a bunch of questions for you. I don't think we can get to them all. Dave probably has some more, but I want to actually go back to early on. You said something that just got kind of my juices flowing. So this 1 to 10 ratio. Are there people who beat that? I mean, besides sort of changing the mix, but given that mix, are there people who can sell more successfully and beat that because they're selling better? Or is that just about what?
Absolutely. No, 100%. And that's an average. Remember, average is average. No, and that is a lead to move in. That's so tour to move in is higher, right? And lead to connect to tour, but absolutely. And it depends on your skill set. The skill set of your salesperson is your #1 factor. in addition, next to your lead mix? Great question. We've got some at 2% though, Steve. We've got.
What's that?
We have a couple clients right now at, 2%. So that's why they're, getting help.
That's discouraging to be there, right? So,
Yeah.
Some of you will know this about me, and it wouldn't quite work this way, but I'm such a big believer in the idea that you set contact goals and touches, because if you do that, it will make a difference. I think it's fair to say I probably have the biggest network in senior living. That's sort of my customer base, if you will, my prospect base. And early on, I figured out that I needed to set goals. So what I've done a couple of times, I'm actually doing it again this year, as you guys have all seen these counter things, right? You stand there and you keep track of how many people you see. So I even have a few of these. So if you see me at a conference, ask me if I have one, and I'll give you one if I've got them. But I set a goal at a NIC conference, the first one I went to, because it was so intimidating to meet 100 people. Now, I didn't have this back then, and so I just did it by the number of cards. And I just walk up to people and say, hey, I'm Steve. And I set a goal to meet 100 people. And I would tell you about 85 or 90% of the time, people would laugh and I'd have a good conversation. And, and the thing you talked about, ask questions, don't tell. And it was, what do you do? And of course, they were polite most of the time. And so they'd ask me, well, what do you do? And that would give me this opportunity to talk about what I do. But you set these goals, and my goal was 100 at a conference. I was in Scottsdale a couple of days ago for just a day and a half for the OSHA conference, and I talked to 94 people. It's easier for me now. And this is the thing, right? Have fun about it, and it gets easier.
It absolutely, it's in your action, what you do and how well you do it. You're not going to get anywhere without doing stuff, but it's not that volume velocity, only it's that you can say, okay, I would like to meet 10 people, or I'd like to meet 20 and have a meaningful conversation, or I'd like to have a next step set with, because I do the same. Steve will go to a conference and say, I definitely want to meet this many people. I'd like to have a meaningful conversation. What meaningful means to me, I have metrics around that. So, it's the outcome. Yep. Okay. Here's a revenue goal for the year. What does, grow your occupancy? How many proposals do I need to do? What's my close ratio? How many people do I need to meet? So it's really knowing your business, but 100%, I want one of those. I would love one of those. So when you commit to doing that, right? That's that consistency and keeping the wheel going.
So there was a request that you go back one slide.
Yep, I was gonna say that.
Yes. I see Heidi saying where focus goes, energy flows. No doubt about that. This one or one more?
I think that one. They said 41.
41, yeah.
Oh, 41. Yes. Aging answers. And we're really beefing up our virtual support. We're going to have call a coach and all those things. So keep watch, because we understand I understand so much, and this is my passion for any of you that know me, that is elevating skills and practicing. And Elizabeth's on this call. She's a master. For those of you that don't know her, Elizabeth Bartlam is the master of role play and selling senior living. And it's a role play, it's a practice, and it takes all of those case studies and strategic plans, both the referral sources and prospects, takes it to that next level. Practice. What do you want to ask, Steve? You're right. What do you want to know? Be curious. Be curious. And the outcome will come. But don't be focused on your outcome. Just be focused on the person in front of you. The outcome will come.
Yeah. And the other question I would really add as you're interacting with these people is, how can I be helpful to you?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
What can I do to be helpful to you? That doesn't mean you're going to do everything that you're being asked. If I don't know, I'll use my own example. Somebody comes and says, well, I want to have you promote me for free. Well, that's how we make a living. I'm not going to do that. But if you go and say, well, I don't have any money and I can't afford you, can you give me some advice? I might give you, Adam Grant says that if somebody asks you for help and it takes you less than 5 minutes, you should just do it and do it right then. And obviously you've got to be smart about that. But I think that as you do referrals, I think what ends up happening, and I see this with vendors in our space, is they want to go tell, but they don't ever want to give. And so,
Exactly.
Julie, one of the things you're so great about is I mean, just like this, right? I mean, you're putting it here. People can take this stuff and go actually do something with it. And there's this tendency, well, I don't want to do that because it's given away for free. But what it really does is when you go and say, oh man, I'm trying this, it's not working as well, I better go hire Julie. And it actually builds your business. And it's the same thing for selling senior living too.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate so much you inviting me on, and I've been enjoying all of the other presenters, admiring them, and have great relationships. And I met both of you a long time ago, and appreciate knowing you both very much and what you do for our business. And again, if anyone wants to talk or reach out, please do.
And actually, Julie, Linda asked if would you make your slides available, and we can put them up on the website if you do. So no problem, as long as you're okay sharing them.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. And I just want to say, just real quick, I mean, I wrote a lot of things down during your presentation and it got a little messy over here, but as the marketing guy in the sales conversation, I saw marketing come up so many times in your slides. And so let me talk to my marketers here. You're their partner, right? Marketing is in support of sales, in the overall goal. And so doesn't mean we work for it. Is, I am very fortunate. I worked with great sales partners over the years, and currently included. I've always had that fortunate thing, but we are in support of this. So whatever we can do to help your sales team, if we tend to be the more creative ones, we have the time, whatever that is, help them with this. This is our job too. So so that's my my top level takeaway is just, hey, marketer guys on the call and ladies and everyone, this is our job too. We play an active role in this success. So we do. It's
getting people to your site, or getting the awareness, getting them in the funnel. So it's like getting them to know the funnel that it exists, getting them in, and then getting them through. There's 3 separate buckets. Your occupancy focus is primarily in this piece, but we do a lot of not getting them to the funnel, but getting them in the funnel as well. But yes, in collaboration with great companies like yours, Dave, and you and I have had multiple conversations. And like I said, anything that I can do to give y'all, advice or resources outside of what we do,
Oh yeah, no, and I'm saying at the community level, if you're in that sales role and you have
yes,
if you're that marketing person, I mean, yes, absolutely. But like you say, if you're going to take those small starts, those micro changes, and you have that marketing person in the community as well, make sure you're partnering up with them and build that relationship too, because you should be a resource for each other. So
yes, and outreach is sales. Outreach is sales.
Mm-hmm.
So marketing, sales, right? The outreach is sales, and marketing. They're both extremely important. So that you have to have sales skills. Yes. So don't pass out a bunch of flyers. That's not outreach.
Good. Agreed.
Yeah. Julie, I want to touch base on that for a second. I think one of the things I've seen people do is they'll put time in that they call outreach, but they're doing things that aren't effective. So passing out flyers is a great example of that. I think the other one is going and networking, having a networking lunch with the same person every week because they're friendly, because you like them. Right. You're doing this to grow your business, not to go have a good lunch and pretend that you're doing something helpful.
Exactly. And we want the win. We want the win, right? That's we want someone to answer the phone. We want to go. So we'll network with other marketing or other marketers or salespeople, or like you said, have lunch with the same people, because we want the win. Oh my gosh, we want somebody to be nice to us, because we get a lot of rejection. We get a lot of no's. But
So I want to ask one quick question and we'll be done. If you were to make me a list of the top 3 people, just broadly, I know each market's going to be different, but if I want to go start with referrals and I don't really know where to go, I know you sort of touched with a long list. Where would I start? What would be the top 3 referral sources I should go to?
I would go to discharge planners. Right. And that's even if I'm independent living, because they're seeing people that, short term maybe had a fall, and they need to rehab to go. So discharge plan is your short-term rehab. I'm going to go to someone who works with seniors, like the elder law attorneys or financial planners, but I'm going to find out if they do refer. And I would go to, gosh, I'd also go to volunteer organizations, but top 3 rehabs, volunteer organizations, and probably 55 plus, where they, where are, because with that, I know we're running out of time. You're going to get to the influencer. Remember, the influencer is now, used to be 40. Remember that, Steve? It's now the influencer is 75, because they're,
Right.
I'm an influencer, and people 20 years older than me are influencers. So that's where I would go.
So we did an online something a few months ago, and I actually was going to do an article on this. They need to go back and do it. But there were 2 different people who in the chat said that their biggest referral sources were funeral homes.
Yeah,
So I think and it makes a lot of sense, right? You've got this tragic loss, you've got to do something, you've got family members involved. And so I think that, thinking about that is just, and then the thing I wish we had time to talk about is how do you get through the door and start the conversation, and that'll have to be another time. Maybe we'll get you on Foresight TV and we can talk about that. So
I'd love to. And yes, I agree. Funeral homes, and then for memory care, Jerry Psych. If you have memory care, even assisted living, Jerry Psych.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, well, let's see. I think we need to wrap up, and we're gonna move on. Next we have
Let me pop up my,
pop that up.
I got to do this, otherwise I'll forget. This should be like an easy one to go in and rate. So you can just type in your browser talk.ac/senior living. You can use the barcode, scan it with your phone, go in and just give Julie hands up, and you might even have some things that she could do better, although it's hard to imagine, right, Julie? But please do that, and we'll drop the link in again in the chat a few times. So,
all right. So
great seeing you guys.
Thank you, Julie, so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So about 3 minutes, we have Kyle Rand from Rendeavor. We're going to talk about virtual reality and senior living. Should be fun. So let's pop out of here, and we'll see you in about 3 minutes. All right.